And the top story that we are tracking at this hour is where a day after the Supreme Court's verdict on LG versus the Delhi government's power tussle, there seems to be no end to the ugly spat. In fact, it has only escalated further. Now, the Aam Aadmi Party government has moved to top court, alleging that the centre is violating the judgment and not approving Delhi government's transfer of Secretary of Services Department. Delhi government has sought contempt of action against the centre and the LG. The Supreme Court will hear the case next week, and hours after the top court's judgment, Delhi government had ordered the transfer of the Secretary of the Delhi government's Services Department, Ashish More. And to get us more details, let me go across to my colleague Harish, who's joining me live right now. Harish, it appears to be a case where the LG or the central government is not willing to pay heed to the Supreme Court's order, where they've made it amply clear that barring land, law and order and police, there is nothing else that the LG has under his domain. Then why is there an objection?
Yes, that's right. Despite yesterday's judgment, which has clearly demarcated the area of functioning of the Delhi elected government led by CM Kejriwal and the LG and the centre, the turf war only appears to be worsening on becoming more aggressive as today Kejriwal government once again rushed to the Supreme Court alleging violation of yesterday's Constitution bench judgment by the centre and LG as they were not approving certain transfers made by the Kejriwal government, and this particular case pertains to the attempted transfer of Delhi's Services Department Secretary Ashish More, which was made within hours of the Supreme Court judgment by the Kejriwal government. Abhishek Mani Singhvi, who had appeared for the Kejriwal government, told a bench led by Chief Justice DY Chandrachud that this clearly amounts to contempt of yesterday's Constitution bench judgment, and action needs to be taken against the centre and the LG. So Chief Justice has for the time being assured the Kejriwal government that the matter a bench will be constituted to hear this controversy next week. Remember, in a landmark judgment yesterday dealing with the turf war between the Kejriwal and the centre as to who is the boss in Delhi and who holds the authority over the services, that is appointment and transfer of bureaucrats. Supreme Court has very clearly given not only executive and power but also legislative power to the Delhi government regarding administrative matters and said that they have complete control over all the domains except land, public order and police. So they have the administrative services, they have the power over administrative services on all other domains, and Supreme Court very clearly said that this was required to give effect to the wills and aspiration of the people and to fulfill people's mandate, and the Delhi governor is can only function as per the aid and advice.
Go across to my colleague Tejshri, who's joining me live now as well. Tejshri, what exactly is the sentiment within the Aam Aadmi Party? Because they are making it very clear that they are not going to shy away from approaching the court time and again if the LG or the centre flouts the Supreme Court rule that has put the elected government as the in charge, as the domain, where they are going to be deciding the transfer and the postings of the civil servants.
Oh, well, yes, the Delhi government has now approached Supreme Court saying that the central government is defying the orders of the Supreme Court. Remember that prior to this, there was a celebration at Aam Aadmi Party's headquarters when when Supreme Court gave the order yesterday. Also, there were meetings held back to back of the cabinet ministers where Kejriwal was also present, where each and every minister celebrated the fact that now now the people of Delhi will be given justice, and now new bureaucrats will be appointed. Also remember that Arvind Kejriwal, the Chief Minister of Delhi, held a press conference in which he welcomed the decision of Supreme Court, mentioning that now new bureaucrats will be appointed, and good bureaucrats in fact will be appointed. And yesterday itself there was a reshuffling, and then now today they have moved to Supreme Court. Apart from this, there has also been a war of words between the Bharatiya Janata Party and the Aam Aadmi Party, because now Aam Aadmi Party is alleging that it is the central government who is not listening, who is defying to the orders that have been given by the Supreme Court.
Well, thank you, Harish and Tejshri, for getting us all those details. We shall leave it at that for the moment, as we also have our guests joining us this afternoon. We have Vinai Goenka, who is a spokesperson from the BJP, and we also have Parvinder Singh Sethi, who is a political analyst. Good afternoon, and thank you for taking our time to join us here at Mirror Now. My first question will, of course, go across to Mr. Vinai Goenka. Mr. Goenka, the Aam Aadmi Party is very categorical in their allegation right now. They are saying that the Supreme Court just yesterday has made it amply clear that the transfer posting is the domain and the jurisdiction of the elected government. Then why is the LG trying to object to it, is not passing the transfer orders that has been issued by the elected government itself? Is this not a violation of the Supreme Court order then?
Ram Ram to you, Samia. Ram Ram to my co-panelist and all the viewers. Probably this is a very unfortunate situation where an elected chief minister claims in his affidavit that he has not been able to work for last 8 years because he did not have the transfer powers. So he has himself certified that he has not done any work for the last 8 years. And we now fear that there will be a regime of slapping the bureaucrats. We all know the case where the chief secretary was assaulted in front of the chief minister. And he will open a new industry which is called as transfer industry. A corrupt state government which has taken money in everything, be it with the liquor case or be spending the money on his house, the palatial house which has been created. He was waiting for this opportunity where he can make money out of transfers. And this word called as good bureaucrat and bad bureaucrat, I don't know why does he want to create a rift between the bureaucracy. As far as I understand, they are sincere people who serve the nation, serve the state, serve the department which they have been working. But time and again, he keeps names to bureaucracy, demoralizes them, and also creates rifts between them. So I pray that he does not do that, A. B, what the LG is doing as per the prescribed norms and as per the rules. He has not stepped outside the rule. They are free to approach the Supreme Court once again. In case Supreme Court feels that there is any breach, they can guide us.
Okay, Mr. Vinai Goenka, but you have deviated from what I was asking. My question was very specific, but let me also go across to my other guest, Parvinder Singh Sethi, because my question was specific about the Delhi government that had ordered the transfer of the Secretary of Delhi Government's Services Department, Ashish More, and that order has been stalled by the Delhi LG. So, Mr. Parvinder Singh, how do you look at the Aam Aadmi Party deciding to go to the court once again, even though the Supreme Court has made it amply clear that the transfer posting is not the domain of the LG anymore?
देखिए, जो कल वर्डिक्ट आया, जो हिस्टोरिक वर्डिक्ट आया, जिसने देश के अंदर एक नई नजीर लॉ एंड ऑर्डर के अंदर पेश की है चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया ने। इससे पहले उन्होंने ऐतिहासिक फैसले करे। जब अडानी के ऊपर जेपीसी नहीं बनाई जा रही थी तो उन्होंने उसके ऊपर जांच समिति बनाई। उसके बाद जो खिलाड़ी पहले जनवरी में बैठे थे, आज भी 20 दिन से बैठे हैं, भारत भूषण जो एक क्रिमिनल है, उसके ऊपर एफआईआर दर्ज सुप्रीम कोर्ट द्वारा कराई जाती है। और कल जो फैसला आता है वो जो पिछले 8 साल से भारतीय जनता पार्टी हर्डल्स क्रिएट कर रही है कि किसी भी काम के अंदर जो उनके जो ऑफिसर्स हैं, जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी लेवल के ऊपर के सिविल सर्वेंट्स थे, अपनी मर्जी के उनकी पोस्टिंग करके हर्डल्स क्रिएट कर रही थी। उसके ऊपर भी जो कोर्ट ने वर्डिक्ट दिया है कि जो दिल्ली के एलजी हैं उनके पास सिर्फ लैंड, पुलिस और लॉ एंड ऑर्डर है। बाकी जो चुने हुए विधायक हैं उनके पास सारी ताकतें हैं। अगर जो ट्रांसफर, और उन्होंने दूसरी बात ये कही, जो सिविल सर्वेंट्स हैं उनकी सैलरीज कौन देता है? उन्होंने कहा जी दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट देती है। उसके बाद उन्होंने कहा कि इस तरह का किसी और यूटी के अंदर है, उन्होंने कहा जम्मू कश्मीर के अंदर है। तो ये एक नजीर है। इस फैसले के बाद, इस वर्डिक्ट के बाद भारतीय जनता पार्टी के ऊपर एक गहरा उन्हें शर्म आनी चाहिए, उन्हें इस बात का रिग्रेट होना चाहिए कि जब सुप्रीम कोर्ट एक लताड़ लगाती है और उसके बाद भी अगर जो देखिए आम आदमी पार्टी ने कितना काम करा, इसका फैसला देश की जनता करेगी और देश की जनता ने करा हुआ है। देश में नहीं, पूरे संसार के अंदर जो उनकी शिक्षा मॉडल है, जो उनका स्वास्थ्य मॉडल है, उसकी एप्रिसिएशन पूरे वर्ल्ड के अंदर हो रही है। अगर अपोजिशन उसको क्रिटिसाइज करना चाहती है तो वो उनका अपना वो है। लेकिन अगर आज मैं समझता हूं कि देश के अंदर जनता को एक विश्वास है कि लोकतंत्र आज भी जिंदा है और मजबूती से खड़ा है, जिसका एग्जांपल
जी परविंदर सिंह जी, आपने अपना
इंडिया।
पॉइंट बता दिया। विनीत गोयनका कुछ कहना चाह रहे हैं। यस मिस्टर गोयनका, प्लीज गो अहेड एंड मेक योर पॉइंट ओवर देयर।
नहीं, मिस्टर सेठी और आम आदमी पार्टी को एक तय करना पड़ेगा कि हमने उनको काम करने दिया या नहीं दिया, क्योंकि एक जगह वो एफिडेविट में भी कहते हैं, टीवी चैनलों में कहते हैं कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी और एलजी साहब उनको काम करने नहीं देते, और फिर वो पोस्टर लगाते, देखिए हमने शिक्षा क्रांति कर दी, हमने देखिए जो ये हेल्थ मॉडल को सुधार दिया। तो सर अगर हम काम नहीं करने देते तो आपने ये मॉडल कैसे किया? तो एक तो आप ही अपने इसमें ना दुराभास करते हैं। So you are trying to create conflict in your own statement. You decide whether we have allowed you to work or not, and two, whether you were able to work or not. A. B. You also have to tell the people how many crore rupees you have spent. If you are not spending 45 crore rupees on the house of the Kejriwal, people would not have asked you the question. You also have to tell the people how many crore rupees you have earned from the liquor scandal.
But Mr. Goenka, my minimum question will be that why is the governor objecting and stalling the transfer of Secretary of Delhi Government Services Department Ashish More? Mr. Goenka, I will have to interject because I think we are deviating from the topic of our discussion today. My topic of discussion today was the fact that since the Supreme Court has set the order in place, that the transfer posting lies as the domain and the jurisdiction of the elected government, in this particular case, it's the Delhi government. Then why is the LG stalling the transfer of Delhi government that had ordered the transfer of Secretary of Delhi Government Services Department, Ashish More? Mr. Goenka, if you have a few words to share on that, please go ahead with it, rather than deviating from the discussion point.
No, there are two different parts, and I have to bring this into the notice of the audience who are watching this particular part. Current case where you are talking about this case, the LG is studying it, and at the appropriate time, he will accept the particular decision. There is nothing wrong in that. If Supreme Court feels that they will take the decision of the transfer and we should sign at 4:45 in the morning, so be it. We will respect that particular part also. But at the same time, Aam Aadmi Party has to say that why there is a fear in the mind of the bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is fearing for their life. Chief Secretary of the state was assaulted in front of the Chief Minister. Isn't that true? That they have to answer that particular part. Isn't it true that Arvind Kejriwal has called all the bureaucrats as to be the people who fool around with the minister and the prime minister? Did he call them as to be good bureaucrats and bad bureaucrats? Isn't it not true that chief minister will create a regime of transfer
Good
industry?
bureaucrats or bad bureaucrats, Mr. Goenka? Let me take that question across to Parvinder Singh. That really doesn't take away from the fact that transfer postings over and beyond land, law and order and police is the domain and the jurisdiction of the elected government as cited by the Supreme Court. परविंदर सिंह जी, आपसे ये पूछना चाहेंगे कि हर छोटी बात के लिए अब क्या सुप्रीम कोर्ट का दरवाजा खटखटाना पड़ेगा? हालांकि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ये निर्णय तय कर दिया है कि ये एलजी का डोमेन नहीं है, तो ऐसे में इलेक्टेड सरकार को फिर अपने जो एग्जीक्यूटिव पावर्स है, जो अपने दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट को चलाने की जो उनकी क्षमता है, उसको हर बार सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जाके उनका दरवाजा खटखटाने की नौबत आएगी।
देखिए, जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी को देश की जनता ने एब्सोल्यूट मैंडेट दिया है, उनके अंदर इतना घमंड आ गया है, ना तो वो किसान का सम्मान करते हैं, ना जवान का सम्मान करते हैं, जहां देश के आन बान शान जो खिलाड़ी पूरे संसार में उनका नाम करते हैं, ना उनका सम्मान करते हैं, ना देश की सुप्रीम कोर्ट का सम्मान करते हैं। सुप्रीम कोर्ट के फैसले के बाद अगर वो इस तरह का एटीट्यूड उनका, सर मेरी बात पूरी होने दीजिए, अगर उनका इस प्रकार का एटीट्यूड है तो ये उनको देश की जनता जवाब देगी। 2024 के अंदर ये देश का दुर्भाग्य है कि एक सरकार
Mr. Goenka, you will have to let Mr. Parvinder Singh make a statement because he let you make a statement, Mr. Goenka. Mr. Parvinder Singh, please go ahead.
जब इनके पास कंटेंट नहीं होता ना तो ये बीच में बोलते हैं। आप अपने समय पे बोलिए, मैं सुनूंगा, मैं चुपचाप सुन रहा हूँ। मैं कह रहा हूँ कि जब देश की सुप्रीम कोर्ट, फिर आप देखिए सुप्रीम कोर्ट का फैसला आ जाता है, उसके बाद भी एलजी हर्डल्स क्रिएट करते हैं, ये दर्शाता है कि इनकी नजर में सुप्रीम कोर्ट के फैसले का भी कोई सम्मान नहीं है। ये बड़े, इससे बड़ा दुर्भाग्य क्या हो सकता है कि इतनी बड़ी पार्टी, देश की नहीं संसार की इतनी बड़ी पार्टी जो सत्ता पक्ष के अंदर है, वो देश के सुप्रीम कोर्ट का सम्मान नहीं करती, देश का किसान का सम्मान नहीं करती, देश के जवान का सम्मान नहीं करती, देश के खिलाड़ी का सम्मान नहीं करती, वो सम्मान करती है क्रिमिनल जो भारत भूषण शरण है, जो रेस्टोरेंट फेडरेशन
No,
के ऊपर
absolutely,
जमे हुए
Mr.
हैं
Parvinder
और
Singh, you've made your point
जिनका
over there
शोषण
as well, and we can only hope that their good sense prevails with the Delhi LG and the Delhi government, and the running of the government doesn't suffer a chill owing to the differences between the Delhi government, the Chief Minister, and the Delhi LG. We will have to leave it at that. Vineet Goenka and Parvinder Singh Sethi, thank you for taking our time and joining us here at Mirror Now.
Thank you.